Welcome back to another instructional chess video. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Fog of War variant. So in Fog of War, you're only allowed to see where your pieces can see. So I'm not allowed to see the other part of the board. I believe they also give you, just by default, part of the board on your side. So yeah, there are some parts of the board that you'll still be able to see, but definitely on your opponent's side of the board, you're not going to have that vision unless, for example, you fianchetto your bishop. Maybe on the b2 square, you would be able to see all the squares that you can already see, plus e5, f6, g7, h8. So something like that. So let's give it a whirl and see how it goes. Okay, so super common opening here would be the c4 opening. So yeah, let's do it. This guy's rated, might be his first time playing. You start at 1500, so we'll try this one. And try the queen a4 move. So most people are eventually playing this move. Try to force this knight away. Hopefully within that time frame he'll have moved his knight, and then we'll go ahead and capture. So Fog of War, definitely really important to anticipate what your opponent will do. I'm just going to advance here, and then since he's pushed this pawn, if he captures this pawn here, then I'm going to play d5 and pin his knight, and he won't really have knowledge yet. So he'll probably move his knight, and then I'm going to take his king, and that's going to be the end of that. Because in this variant, you are allowed to capture the king, because your opponent really won't have knowledge that you can see. So that's the reason why it would really be silly if you couldn't take the king in this variant. So this has sort of got him in the tank, but yeah, it looks like if he captures back with his queen, he's not going to do that. I'm tempted to play something like this. I'd really like to force him to move off. I'll play something maybe a bit more standard. Since he really kind of just pushed up his pawn, he can't have a bishop on d6, right? Okay. That's right. Just keep some of my pieces guarded. So I assume that he has maybe like a knight here, maybe he's castled actually. So we just don't exactly know yet. Want to get some oh my goodness. Just gave up a bishop there. Yeah, there's always going to be a risk if you put some pieces on unguarded squares, so that's unfortunate. But definitely by no means the end of the game. And it's also not 100% that he'll take, although, I mean, who wouldn't? So he's assuming that my queen is still on d1, so he's played something else, which is kind of funny. He must have most certainly guarded his bishop, maybe with his other knight, maybe with his queen. We just don't really know, which is a little bit strange. I'm going to go ahead and just add more pressure here. So we know that he has a bishop on f5. Okay. Let's go ahead and castle him. Don't know exactly what he's got in store for me. Will capturing this pawn be safe? Could he maybe have a knight here? It's possible. So definitely capturing this pawn, I could put myself at a big risk for kind of a small game. But I don't know. I'm just gonna gamble. Yeah, his knight is on f6. Just a lot more likely that he had it. So definitely, when you play this variant, you're gonna have to gamble. I'm curious as to where he could have put this other piece. He brings queen up. There's no way he would have put his rook on a7, and we know that his bishop is here, so this pawn I think is not guarded. Wow, he castled queenside. Amazing. Okay, so bishop and queen. I assume that there's a rook here, so he played another move. Really strange. Okay. So yeah, we could take a look and see what really was played here. So I think we can toggle Shift Alt F to really see how the game actually played out. So now you'll show you the game without the fog, so we can see what sort of hilariousness was missed. So this guy really wasn't bad for his first time playing this variant. There's a lot of tricks where you can just play c4 and usually pry whatever piece is off this square and just immediately take their king. A lot of times you can get a 2-move checkmate or 2-move win, but this guy didn't fall for that. So props to him. Okay, so it was g6 that was guarding this bishop, so kind of interesting. And yeah, clearly I didn't know his bishop would be there, but I really should have taken that into account. This is probably an unnecessary risk that I took. It was probably a little bit more prudent to just bring the bishop to b5 and add more pressure, because it's still going to be unknown to him. Although he will actually, I think, get a notification that he knows that something is here, but he won't actually see the square. Because his pawn will no longer be permitted to move to b5. Whereas when I had a bishop up on b5, then I could see that there was no pawn on a6, so I knew that it would be more safe. Okay, anyway, elected not to capture, which is a bit strange. And yeah, so I could have also captured and doubled his pawns, which is, yeah, pretty weird that he would allow this. And then castling queenside's common tactic in this variant, because a lot of people expect castle kingside, which is probably a good measure. But yeah, there's definitely other things that you can employ to be a little bit more sneaky, a little bit more crafty. So yeah, clearly the a6 move was no good. But yeah, he may not have had such an easy way to know that. So he really should have gotten some more recon and some more intel by trying to play some moves that would discover what's on some of these squares before he proceeded in this way. So yeah, he probably should have realized that something was on b5, because he wouldn't be allowed to play this move. So that was probably the fatal mistake for him. And then, yeah, I didn't know. I thought that perhaps a rook would still be there, but once my queen's vision was there, I knew that this would be relatively safe, since we knew that the bishop was on f5. Okay, and yeah, he knew that the queen was here. He knew that his pawn was lost, so he really should have assumed that this queen captured. So that was really not a mistake that he should have made. So anyway, that was basically that. So I hope you guys learned something on how to play the Fog of War. I highly recommend. It's a really interesting variant. So if you enjoyed the video, please give a thumbs up, and go ahead and comment down below. Is there any other chess variants that you would like to see me play? If so, leave them down in the comment section. And other than that, I will catch you guys in the next video. So long.